talking to myself, by the way. Welcome, guys. Brian Lyles here. Exciting to see everyone as usual. I see Lori already got it started off in the Telegram. For those of you who don't know our ritual, though, if you are in our Telegram group, why don't you pop in there and tell people where it is you're popping in from? California, Houston, Florida. Welcome, guys. Good to see you. We're going to get started here in just about 2 minutes. Just want to give you guys some updates on what's going on. And want to talk to you just for about 5 or 10 minutes about what I think is an important subject. In fact, maybe some of you guys can even help chime in and help with this today. West Texas, how are you? Guys, give me just a minute here. I'm going to get a couple of things set up and then we will get started. Continue to go into the Telegram group, though, and just kind of mention where it is you're from, guys. Okay, guys, fantastic. Welcome. We got Ireland, we've got Canada, Florida, Connecticut. Good morning, Ireland, by the way. But great, guys. Thank you for actually being here. We will not, as you know, we're not going to actually make these things overbearing or long when we don't need to. There's just a couple of things I wanted to do here. So let me hit the record button here for a second.
Recording in progress.
Okay, fantastic, guys. Well, once again, I want to welcome everybody to our AMA here on Wednesday night. And today has been a day, as if you've been in the Telegram group, you probably saw we did a lot of testing today. I know that there was a lot of back and forth that Mark was doing when he was doing the testing for the voting mechanism. He had people go back and forth in Telegram. So even if you weren't there, you were probably checking it. And you could probably see or sense that something was happening, right? Something that maybe you weren't a part of, but it was definitely happening to within your benefit. But earlier than that, there was some testing that went on with the affiliate plan, just to make sure of the most important part of the affiliate plan is that the commissions, when we were stacking people on top of each other and moving people around, that it was reflecting correctly, and it did. It reflected perfectly correctly. I wanted to say thank you to the small team of people who helped us with that and helped to get that done. That was actually pretty cool. And then we had a much bigger team of people that popped on to help us test with the voting mechanism, which was cool. We do it in a test net environment, so we did make some people rich in a test net environment. Where I know Mark was very generous, sending around millions and millions of tokens to people. But of course, they're all test tokens. So instead of Sosana, it's Tosana, which is test Sosana. And instead of Solana, right, we're sending out test Solana tokens. And we voted on some made up tokens, right, that don't actually exist, but we were able to show them being nominated and then voted upon. That was recorded. I'm not sure. I wasn't, I was really busy today after that. So I didn't even have a chance to check Telegram. So maybe Mark already dropped that recording here. If he didn't, I'll make sure that he does drop that recording. But it was really good for us to go through that with a lot of people because for some people, everything works smoothly, perfectly. For some other people, they were getting like a strange message that it's possible because remember, we are in a test environment. And everything's not connected because it is a test. So it is possible that one of the messages they were getting is just because we're in a test environment. So we're going to be talking to the programmers about that. We've already sent them the video and we've already scheduled just to talk to them to make sure that they can let us know, hey, that's a test environment issue, or you know what, that the reason why is because of this or whatever, but it's been corrected or fixed. But all of these things, though, guys, were all really us testing the interface. It has nothing to do with the smart contracts, right? Smart contracts weren't, this isn't the kind of stuff that impacts the smart contract. So that stuff has already been, as you know, it's with the auditors. and we're just waiting for the go ahead from them. But this was just us testing all the interface stuff, because we can make as many changes as we want to that up until the very last second, which is our intention, right? In fact, not only is it our intention to make changes to it up to the last second, to make it more aesthetically pleasing, to make it more intuitive, et cetera, but also to make sure that even once we actually launch, we're going to do some things. Again, as we get feedback, more and more feedback from you guys in the community, we'll make additional adjustments to that stuff as we move forward. So just want to kind of keep everybody in the loop of what was happening there. Very important stuff that was going on, but wanted you guys to be aware of that. Now, the other thing, and again, I do appreciate, I know people taking time out of their schedule, their lives. I know that it's everybody's busy. So for you guys to take some time out of your schedule in the middle of the day, we definitely appreciate that. And we continue to appreciate all that you guys are doing to make this a reality and set us up to be the best token project that's out there on the planet. And we're all going to benefit from that. But still, you guys don't have to do it. So we appreciate you doing it. However, there was something that I heard on the call that I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit. And again, I don't know if any of you guys have ever had the experience. I think I'm pretty sure some of you have had the experience of maybe at some point in time in your career, probably early in your crypto career, when you didn't really know a lot, of having somebody take advantage of you, right, or scam you, or you lose tokens because you don't exactly understand what the process is. You don't understand how security goes. And I heard, there was a person that it happened to, and they talked about it, felt bad that it happened to them, and it kind of made me think about the fact that, I find it interesting that our community is being so targeted by scammers, and it seems like it's probably more of not a scammer, but a scam shop. I don't know if you guys know this, but those are billion-dollar enterprises that literally, that's all they do is figure out how to steal crypto. That's it. They run scams all over the world of different types, but it's all directed at one thing, which is stealing crypto. And what I want you guys to understand is that a lot of times people say I got hacked but it's really not that. I mean, that's a very rare thing. When it's really just an actual hack, a hack being that somebody figured out a way to break your device. When I mean break into your device remotely, without anything else, and then stealing your crypto. It does happen, where a person can plant like a tracker on your device. Maybe they send you an email that you open up that then downloads a virus that can track your keystrokes, and eventually they run an algorithm and they can figure out that you're logging into a wallet, et cetera. But I want you guys to understand, and I think this is critical. And where somebody made a great suggestion that we put together a video about different aspects. Like we put together a video of showing people how in Telegram you can actually set your Telegram security so that only your contacts can call you, or no one can call you, right? So that you can't actually be called by strangers pretending to be your friend, or pretending to be in the same community. And the reason why that's important is because here's what I want people to kind of think about in their mind. When you think about the people who are stealing crypto, don't think about them like muggers or robbers that'll knock you over the head, or break into your house and rob you. Think of them as con men, right? And the reason why I say con men is because when you set up a wallet and you have it and you have a digital wallet secured, part of the brilliance of cryptocurrency and part of the brilliance of the blockchain is that it's almost unhackable, and it's almost impossible for somebody to ever figure out what your particular code is or how to get into your wallet. So if they can't figure, just imagine having a safe in your house with a 40 number combination of random numbers and letters and stuff. It would be impossible for somebody to sit there, no matter how talented they were, and figure it out. So if they can't hack the wallet, they then have to hack the individual. And that's where the con comes in, is that at no matter what, in all these different things, I've seen it. I've seen all the fake Telegram groups that are out there that are set up. They look like official Sosana Telegram groups. And they do. I mean, if you're not paying attention, they do look like official Sosana groups until you start really looking at what's in there and you start seeing the con, right? Because the key thing about a con is that at some point in time, there has to be the ask. The thing that is so infuriating and for some people so embarrassing about falling for some of these things that they don't even want to tell people that they fell for it, right? And they kind of suffer in silence, as I call it, is because at some point you find yourself saying, how could I have done that? Like, why didn't I recognize that? Why didn't I think about it? Well, keep in mind then, these people are very, very good. Just because they're con men, just because they're criminals, does not mean they're stupid. I mean, in fact, it's quite the opposite. They spend a lot of time, studying people, learning psychology, figuring out the things to say, and appealing to, either the fact that people are trusting because they're like, oh, they're part of the community, so I know I can trust them, or to the fact that people just don't know enough about what's going on. I mean, I was in somebody put me in one of the fake Sosana groups. I noticed it was fake. I opened up the Sosana. It said Sosana official. I clicked on it. I opened it up, and I knew it was a fake group right away because the first thing I saw was a testimonial from somebody that says, "Hey guys, I got my giveaway. It was so easy. I just hooked up to like they said, and they gave me my free Sosana token." So I knew that was fake right away because I know we're not doing that, right? But then I read it right underneath of that, and it was a big advertisement. And it was like, hey, just come here, and it had these step-by-step instructions. Say, come, we want to reward the community. Come here, hook up your wallet. Just put in your seed phrase so we can make sure it's your wallet and we can identify it. And then we'll actually drop your free Sosana token. So right there is the ask, right? Because when I said if somebody came into your house and they can't find, there's no way they can crack your safe, so they have to try to hack the person. That's what I'm talking about. The only way they can ever get into your safe is if you give them the combination. So in that case, they were asking people for their seed phrase. Because with your seed phrase, guess what they can do? They can download your wallet now onto a new device and create a new password. Their device, the password that they create, and they can simply send all of the tokens out of your wallet into another wallet, and you can never get it back, right? But you think that you're being told to do this, but if you don't know the importance of a seed phrase, you are thinking, man, I didn't realize Sosana was giving away something. That's cool. Let me go get mine. And right away, you're giving away the combination to your safe. So I want you to think about this for a moment. We're never going to ask you ever, 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 ever for your password to log into your site, to your that's private. We're never going to ask you for your seed. It's none of our business. In fact, you should never give it to anyone. I don't care who they look like. I don't care what their email looks like on your phone. It comes up, it's very similar to somebody else's email. I don't care who they say their name is. You should never give that information to anyone, because I want you to, again, remember, no one can steal from you unless you give them the combination to your safe. That's it. They can't crack it without you. And that is the painful part about what's happening, is that people are finding themselves getting into these conversations that people seem like, oh, I'm just trying to help you. And they're saying all the right stuff. Maybe you're new to crypto. In fact, it's really mostly happening to people that are new to the crypto space. I'm very, very excited about the fact that we have attracted so many new people to the crypto world. I'm so excited about that. I'm also a little scared because I understand what that means. That's why we're being targeted, because they're like, these guys got a lot of people. They don't know the game, and we're going to go out and pretend that we're trying to help them. And in the middle of helping them, there's always, we just slip in that one little thing. There's always the ask, right? There's always the, hey, we got this incredible property. We're going to give it to you for pennies on the dollar, blah, 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 blah. You're going to own it. Here's a picture of it, blah, 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 blah. All it takes is a $500 deposit so we can actually get the paperwork done. And you're going to get this mansion for $42 or something like that. And it's that there's always that ask, which is what it is really about. And in all this stuff they're saying, we're going to give this away, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. At the end of the day, the only thing they're saying that's important that you need to pay attention to is when they say, give us your seed phrase, right? If someone asks you to connect to a site and to put in your wallet information, and then, but you're not typing your wallet in, you're not typing your username and password into your wallet, you're typing it onto their site, or you're typing their seed phrase, all these types of things, guys. You just have to say to yourself, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it, period. There is no legitimate person that is associated with our community that is ever going to get mad at you for when you're saying, I don't know if I feel comfortable doing this, right? Because if you don't feel comfortable, they're probably asking you something that you should not be doing, right? So if you don't feel comfortable, don't even hesitate to say, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I just don't. I don't feel comfortable doing that, because at some point in time, they're asking you to give them the combination to your safe. If someone says, can I have remote access to your computer because I'm trying to walk you through these steps, it seems like you're struggling with them a little bit. Give me remote access and I'll do it for you. Don't do it. Don't do it, because with remote access, they can do the same stuff. They can look up your important information because it's right there on your system. So there's so many ways I'm hearing about. There's the Telegram reach out. There's the, hey Brian, I see you're also part of the of the Sosana community, and I just wanted to reach out and see if I could ask you a few questions, right? But if you respond to that, right, first of all, you have to ask yourself the question of, why are they asking me questions? What have I done to identify myself as the expert, right? Why wouldn't they just put their question into Telegram for the community at large to be able to ask, right? To be able to answer. Or why wouldn't they? So what happens is they do that, and you're like, oh, it's cool. There's somebody new in the Sosana community trying to connect with me, and you connect with them. And guys, they'll go on, potentially for days or for a couple of weeks or whatever, developing what seems like a friendship, all to get to the point of where it's like there's going to be the ask. And at some point in time, it's going to be, hey, did you hear about the new thing that they're doing, that they're giving away? And you haven't heard about it. So if you haven't heard about it, you know what you say? No, I haven't heard about it, but I'll look into it. And you wait till you're on to a webinar like this, the one that you know is real. And then you can go into the Telegram group and say, by the way, are we giving away free Sosana tokens for blah, 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 blah? And right away, the community will tell you, no, we are not. Guys, I'm sharing this with you. And I know for so many of you, it's like, I know that. But I'm telling you, everybody doesn't know that. A lot of your people don't know that. All we're seeing over and over and over again is that new people are being invited into the community. People are just saying, hey, go join Sosana. It's cool. Here's the webinar. Here's the webinar information, blah, 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 blah. But they're not warning them about the other parts of it. You're not being good stewards of your people. And I'm just begging you guys to do that, man. It's heartbreaking for people to believe in this project enough to go spend their hard-earned money. For some of them, it's like the last bit of money that they have, right? Or the last bit of money that they can spare, and they're like, man, I'm betting everything on this project. I'm betting everything on being here early enough to take advantage of the timing to benefit from this, and then to have that be stolen from them, where just an extra couple of minutes with them of explaining, some of the pitfalls could have saved that person a lot of money and a lot of heartache, and being wiped out. I mean, it's, Dave and I, myself, Dave and Mark, we were talking about once we actually put this together, one of the things that we're really excited about is that once we launch, we'll have a community hub, and everybody has to KYC to be part of the community hub, which means the scammers can't pretend to be someone else anymore, right? They can't do that, right? Which takes away the whole thing, because it is all about anonymity, right? It's about they're on the other side of the world somewhere, hooking up with you through Telegram or through a computer connection. And it's really easy to steal from people when you don't have to look them in the eye, right? And when you know that they will never have any way of finding out who you are, right? It's like a cowardly way to go about life, but it is what people are doing. I mean, again, this is a multi-billion dollar enterprise, guys. There's crypto being stolen in the millions every single day. And there are people that all they're doing every single day, right, is sitting around thinking of ways, right, to rob people, coming up with new scams, new stories, literally bringing on people because they speak a certain language, or they have a certain type of trusting voice, or they sound young, or they sound old, or they sound whatever, so they can match up with people, and they can get you to that point where there's the ask, where there's the, hey, would you mind doing this? Or, hey, you know what? Maybe you could show me how to, maybe you could share your information with me so I can get an idea of what my information. I mean, literally, guys, I was on a YouTube video looking up when I first started learning about crypto, I would go to YouTube every single night. That was how I was teaching myself. I would hear about stuff during the day, terms that I had no clue what they meant. I would write them down, and I would say, hey, by tomorrow morning, I'm going to know what staking is. I'm going to know what yield farming is. I'm going to know what this is. I'm going to know what this is. And I would simply go to YouTube and I would type in a basic explanation of crypto staking. And I would sit there and watch 4 or 5 videos, and I would do that. And I noticed one time I was watching a video, and someone posted underneath of the video, they said, hey, I signed up for a wallet. And I think I was watching something about wallets or something like that. And they said, I signed up for a wallet, and they gave me these 12 words. What do they mean? And they typed in the 12 words onto the YouTube video, right, in the comment section. And I was like, oh my Lord. I mean, wow. Do you know what I mean? Just wow. And I realized that when we're all new and we don't know what's going on, we're all vulnerable, right? And it's kind of up to the team. It's up to the people who are inviting people in. It's up to the community to try to protect people as much as we can. And again, I know we can't do everything for everyone, but I always try to tell people, have some patience. We were all brand new babies at one point in time, right? And don't have that crypto. I'm the genius crypto superstar and arrogance that we've seen in other communities, guys. But kind of just look out for each other, man. Really, I mean, and it's so much easier if you're looking out for each other in advance than looking out for each other afterwards. So if you see people asking questions that clearly you can tell they don't understand something, they don't understand crypto, and they're maybe asking questions like, well, somebody was asking me to do this or asking me to do, okay, please step in, man. Please step in and just take that extra minute of telling people. I really like the way that I saw people today. A person said that their wallet, they had given up the information to their wallet, and their wallet had been drained. But they were still using the wallet. Right away, somebody stepped in and said, make sure you're not using that wallet anymore. Make sure you just get rid of and delete that wallet. Because as simple as that sounds, if nobody explains it to you that, hey, now that a person robbed you, it's not that it's a one-time thing. They have permanent access to your wallet. It's like, so if you turn around and say, oh man, I can't believe I got robbed. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get another $100 and go buy another $100 worth of Sosana. You go buy another $100 worth of Sosana in that wallet, they'll steal that too. But if you didn't know that, right, you would just very likely just go get more crypto into that same wallet and then watch it disappear again. And now you've gotten scammed twice. So just the fact that I saw people jump in right away, I think Curtis jumped in and said, hey, make sure before we do anything else, you get rid of that wallet. I thought that was really cool, Chris. I wanted to kind of shout you out there, man, because I thought that was just really thinking about the fact that, what may be simple to you or maybe simple to most of us about, hey, here's what you do if this happens to you. It's not simple to a person who's never had it happen to them before, and just preventing somebody from doing that. It actually made me remember a story of a person who was a part of my team. I was brand new in crypto in a company where I was doing extremely, extremely well, which I was excited about the fact that I could do extremely well in crypto without knowing very much about crypto at all. But I did know about team building. And I had a guy on my team who was just really, just really, really big builder, also didn't know just about anything about crypto. And I don't know what he did, but he got hacked, right? And I assume, I don't know what the scam was. I don't know how he gave somebody's information, but at some point in time, he gave somebody's information and they stole 10 grand out of his crypto wallet. And he calls up, his upline. I was farther up in his upline, but he calls us up and he's telling us, and somebody said, hey man, because we were all making a lot of money and he was new and we didn't want to slow him down. He was all excited. This kind of took a lot of wind out of his sails. He was putting together this big team and we knew it was going to be way, way, way worth it to it. We knew it's like, this is an organization we'll make six figures from. Somebody said, hey man, you know what? I'll send you, send me a wallet address. I'll send you the 10 grand back, man. Just because I don't want to see you lose, man. I don't want this to slow you down. But he sends that wallet address. So the person sends him 10 grand. And a couple of hours later, he's back on the phone and it's like, they got me again. And it's like, what do you mean they got you again? What do you? And then it comes out and we realize that he sent the same wallet that he got robbed the first time, right? And it was just like, oh my God, like what, but again, if nobody says anything and everybody just assumes that people know what to do, these are the types of things that will happen, So I just want to say this, man. As long as we're out there and we're doing stuff and we're moving the needle and we're starting to make more and more money and we're starting to attract more and more new people, this is going to happen. And guys, the more money that we make, the more action, the more activity we get, the more the name of Sosana gets out. We start the voting process, and now we've got millions of dollars in trade. It's only going to get worse, right? But we can solve that in a myriad of ways. Number one, making people KYC so we don't, we can start using our internal communication metrics so we can just abandon Telegram altogether. And people only within the community will be communicating within our community hub, and who you're dealing with because all of these people were KYC'd. Explaining to people just some basic stuff about, just basic etiquette about what you do not, the information you make sure you never, ever reveal under any circumstance for your own protection, right? We'll have trainings for that. But again, as a team, as a team builder or as somebody who's a community builder, that should be part of what you're saying to people as they're coming on board. If you're talking to somebody and you say, hey man, what's your experience level in crypto? And like, oh, I've been in crypto, since the very beginning. I bought Bitcoin when it was 12 cents, man. I've been around forever, seen it all, done it all, been rug pulled, got the t-shirt. That's one thing. But if somebody's telling you, oh, I've done just a couple things, they've never really worked out, but I'm hoping this one is real. That's the person you might want to have a conversation with and just explain to them a little bit about, about wallet security, about keeping their passwords, about keeping their keywords and their phrases safe, about never giving it to anybody, about not actually giving people remote access to your computer, about ignoring, if we're still using any type of social media, ignoring these blind reach outs where somebody says out of the blue, just like it's your lucky day, hey, I was looking around and I saw this cool concept, this cool company called Sosana, and it looks like you're a part of it. I think I'm interested. Hey, do you want to connect? Like, yeah, listen, just risk it. That type of stuff doesn't happen. Okay. So just, you know what I mean? It's like, so just ignore that, delete that, report it as spam, whatever you have to do. Avoid getting sucked into these conversations and these scenarios that allow people to somehow, that you remember, you've never met them, never seen them, never actually heard their real voice, probably allow you to get into a position where somebody is trying to scam you. It is a waste of your time. And if you are not, paying attention, because these guys, again, they are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're not paying attention, you're not on your game, and you're not alert at all times, as my wife always tells my daughter when she was young, keep your head on a swivel whenever she would go out of the house. If you're not doing that, they're going to get you, and it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful because, again, they didn't sneak in your house when you weren't there. They didn't knock you over the head. They didn't jump out of the bushes and tie you up. They asked you at some point in time for the keys to your safe, for the code, and you gave it to them. And it is a very painful, embarrassing thing. Some people experience a lot of shame about it, and you don't want to talk about it. And if you don't tell anybody about it, chances are, even if you don't get scammed that way, you might get scammed a different way because you've never taken the time to kind of educate yourself because you were too ashamed to tell anybody that you got. So you never really got the real education, guys. Myself, David, and Mark, I started by saying we were thinking about, once we get the community hub together, we're gonna put together the wall of shame, and we call it the wall of shame affectionately. But we are all going to put our worst rug pull story on there, and just not from a sin. Dave's like, I'll do it first. I got one. I said, I probably got one better than you, but Mark said, I got one better than both of you, right? But not from a shame standpoint. It is what it is. You can't, we're too mentally strong for anybody to break us. So we're not worried about that. But it's really because we want people to know that that's why we're doing this, right? We're doing this because we do want to make a significant change in the crypto community. We do want to create a safe place, or a safe space, or at least a safer place where people can come, they can get educated, they can learn how to pick real assets with potential growth, and they can actually start building, maybe slight or maybe even substantial wealth because of the metrics and the system that we're putting together here in Sosana. And they can do that without having to look over their shoulder every second or feeling like they're alone, in a dark alley at night, because they've got this community looking out for them. They've got the training, they've got the development, and they've got the safety of what we're putting together. So I wanted to share it with you guys, man. Again, if you were on the call earlier, you know what story I'm talking about. I'm not here to call out anyone. That's, I appreciate the sharing with it, but I felt this pain when he was talking about it. But I did want to say, man, let's take this moment and make it a learning lesson for the team at large. Because again, I know we've had these conversations before, but it's still happening. People are still getting sucked into these fake Telegram groups. They're still getting excited because they're seeing fake giveaways. They're still logging into websites that are not our website and, giving up their, access to their information. They're still getting on the phone with people and giving them their private keys over the phone, et cetera, et cetera. So if it's still happening, no matter how much it seems like we're talking about it, we're clearly not talking about it enough. But I think part of it is it can't just be us talking about it from this platform. It has to be a collective effort. So guys, I hate to do the airport thing, but if you see something, say something, help your team. Really, man, just help your team, help them stay ahead of it. And guys, we'll launch here really shortly. We'll get that, and then we'll pull off of this, and we'll pull in the community hub. That'll be a lot safer, but still make sure people are educated if they're new to this space about not just how to get crypto and build crypto, but keep it safe so they can actually use it for what it's supposed to be for, which is the safety and security of themselves and their families. So with that said, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. Again, I appreciate your help. Mark's going to be here with some tremendous updates tomorrow. So I want to make sure that we get a series, we get going tomorrow with some clear updates. We will hear back from the programmers about some of the stuff we saw today. I believe tomorrow morning, our time tomorrow morning, I think it's evening for them. And then we'll be able to bring that to the table tomorrow as well, about whether some of that was just test that environment, whatever we have to do. And then again, we're just waiting to hear back from the auditors as well. And then we'll announce out our 48-hour founders period, and we'll be off to the races. So thanks so much for you guys. Appreciate you. Have a great night, and we'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same place. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks.
Recording